True, true.
It's much more compelling and useful to build forward to what you want. And because, again, I think that one of the reasons why things have not shifted more quickly is the amount of energy that people are spending being pulled into talking about or fighting about what they don't want. Because the real question is, what would you like instead? What can we be doing instead? If there's no alternative to what we're doing now, then, buy a beer, get some bonbons, and watch TV. That makes as much sense as anything else.
Well, it takes effort to actually envision or create a vision, which I think you called that imagineering. The butterfly, when the butterfly, I'm saying, they're imagining.
Television, we have a vision, we tell our vision to each other, and then we have healing and functional visions to step into, and it beats what we've been stepping into, if you know what I mean.
Yes. You had an interesting solution to our economic problems, which is presented by Steven Bhaermanan. I thought that was kind of a creative way to approach things. Do you remember those three steps in his plan?
Well, I think let me back up a little bit.
Okay.
When we looked at what do we do instead, where do we go to get advice? What's working? And where we went to get advice was the body. What is the body doing? And we looked at the economic system of the body because, after all, economics is merely how energy gets produced, stored, moved around, distributed. And if we look at money as representing ability to do work, ability to accomplish things, ability to produce, it simply represents energy. So we look at the current economic system, and particularly in the light of what happened, what's happened in the last year and a half, which is that the house of credit cards economy has crumbled to the ground. And, you had these companies that were leveraged by a factor of 35, that they had loaned out 35 times more than they had on hand. How inconvenient. So what we're recognizing is that the real economy is based on how we use available energy, how we conserve available energy. So in the body, there's no borrowing. You can't, put your energy put it on your Ascended MasterCard and pay for it next lifetime. You can't do that. So we're dealing only with available energy. And so the way the energy is moved around and stored in the body is through ATP, which is a phosphate that is either when you add on phosphate molecules. Let me back up. It's simply, without getting into the explanation, it's a way that energy is moved and stored in the body. Energy is in the system. Every cell gets what it needs to thrive in the human body. It has universal health care. There's full employment. There's no cell left behind. But those cells that are doing the most essential jobs get more resource to do those jobs. But the resource is distributed on the basis of contribution to the well-being of the whole system, because every cell benefits from the whole system. In citing the work of Steven Bhaermanan at the American Monetary Institute, he's done some really brilliant research on the Federal Reserve System, on how we can be issuing money as simply representation for the goods produced and not as debt, because right now money is created by the Federal Reserve and it enters the system as debt, so that the more money that goes into the system, the less each dollar is worth. It waters down the value of the money that's in the system. And then at some point, the money of, well, right now the dollar is worth, I think, slightly less than the dollar in monopoly money. So the solution that the American Monetary Institute offers, and it's the same thing that the Chicago Plan, which was essentially formulated by the leading economists in the 1930s, but nixed by the banking industry. It's essentially that when we don't issue money as debt, but when we have the money simply as a representation of the actual value that's in the economy, then we have a system where the value remains the same, the money doesn't get watered down, and we don't get enslaved by metastasizing debt like we have right now. The one thing that the Tea Party people and the conservatives have right is that it's not possible under any circumstances, it's not mathematically possible to repay the national debt ever. So it is this constant, ongoing, uncurable. It's an incurable disease that takes all of the energy, all of the real wealth out of the system. And so, we're at a point, just as everything else is changing, we're at a point where our economics is changing to where we have to consider how we represent the real value in the economy. And the real value can be boiled down to this: the food that we grow, the energy from the sun, which is for our purposes infinite. We may as well call it infinite. It is the love that we have, because the love is something that makes life better. It creates beauty. It creates connection between people. And our imagination, which is what enables us to create inventions that save us time and energy. That's what the real economy is. And if it's not one of those things, if it's not how do we grow food, how do we harness energy, how do we make life more comfortable, more beautiful, more happy, and how do we use our technology to become even more efficient for the benefit of the commonwealth, not just the uncommonly wealthy.
Right. Well, it's clear from everything that you said and from your wonderful book that we certainly are poised on the verge of some major shifts and changes. I didn't get a chance to ask you if you felt there was any parallel between any of the various prophecies that are floating around out there, like the Mayans and so on and so forth, but maybe we can get into another conversation.
I should tell you that the Swami is writing a book called 2012, The Secrets Revealed.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, the book's going to be out in 2013.
All right, wonderful. Well, I want to save a few moments at the end of the show to ask you if you're going to be doing any book signings, where you'll be. Are you going to have some stand-up comedy pretty soon, and where will that be, and how can people find you on your website?
Okay, let's go to the website first. It's wakeuplaughing.com, wakeuplaughing.com. Lots of fun stuff on there. In upcoming weeks, on Friday, April 23rd, I'll be in Fairfield, California. That's not far from Sacramento. And then in May, the early part of May, the first weekend in May, I'm doing a tour of the Northwest. We'll be in Port Townsend, Washington, Seattle, Portland, Oregon, Ashland, Oregon, and Yuba City, California.
Wow.
Yeah. And then in June, we're going to be we're going to be in Santa Fe and Albuquerque. We're going to be at the Harmony Fair in Santa Rosa, California. We're going to be at the Golden Gate Church in San Rafael, California. Probably, I think we're doing something else in Santa Rosa. So to find out, just go to wakeuplaughing.com. We have a calendar of events. And if you want to bring the Swami to your hometown, we can do that. The Swami has turban, we'll travel. So he's turban powered. He puts the turban on, and that's his power.
What about that body scanner at the airport?
Well, I don't have my body scanned. That's why I totally fly by carpet. Yes. So Swami is on the air now, but he's in the air quite a bit too.
Well, you can imagine.
Yeah.
Do you meditate and do all those things that the people talk about?
I premeditate. I don't need to. I'm meditating tomorrow. So I'm premeditating. It's a premeditated meditation. You don't need to meditate. All you need to do is a simple practice to dislodge all of the unnecessary thoughts in your head, which can cause a condition called truth decay. What you need to do is use mental floss every day, just back and forth, your hand by one ear, your hand by the other ear, move it back and forth, and you will dislodge all of the illogical logic.
Wonderful. Well, Steve, Swami, I just want to thank you for being on the show. You're absolutely wonderful. I can't thank you enough, and for sharing all your wisdom and insights and humor and everything else. And I certainly wish you the best on this wonderful book. I'll have a chance to talk to Bruce in a few weeks, so I'll get his version of the book.
Oh, good, yes. That'll be fun also. And keep up the zany mysticism.
All right.
And I appreciate your work as well, and may the farce be with us all.
Wonderful. Thanks again, Steve.
Okay.
And good luck on your tours and books and everything else.
And thank you. Hope to catch you on the fun way.
Yes. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And that's Zany Mystic, over and out for now. Bye-bye.